Micro-premies, powerful stories, and a gross disconnect with public policy. All this to be covered in this week's Abortion News Update with us, CBR UK. My name is Christian Hacking. So what am I talking about? Well, a premie, for those of you who don't know, is a premature baby. A micro-premie is a really premature baby. Now, the latest article of this kind appeared 2 weeks back in The Sun and involved a set of twins born at 22 weeks in the US, both weighing less than a small bag of sugar. Now, unfortunately, only one of the twins survived, but the surviving twin has become something of an Instagram sensation. Pictures and videos posted on Instagram of little Lyric show her opening her eyes, breathing with assistance, moving her hands, and she is accompanied by a full head of hair and brown eyebrows to match. But what makes this story particularly remarkable is that when the mother was going into labour, she attended her local hospital, who declared to her that they were not willing to resuscitate the babies before 24 weeks because, and I quote, they said they don't have the capability to care for babies that young. Now, fortunately, the desperate parents were able to transfer to another nearby hospital in which they were able to receive better care for the twins. But the story raises a very important question, which is, why do birthing units across the Western world still hold a 24-week resuscitation threshold when so many babies are now surviving at 22 weeks plus? Now, according to data published by the British Association of Prenatal Medicine in 2019, 2 out of every 10 babies born at 22 weeks survive in neonatal intensive care units. 1 week later, and it's 4 out of every 10. A survival rate that has doubled in the last decade. But aren't all these children now severely disabled? Some of you might be thinking. Well, the very same report shows that the majority of micro-premies that survive are not severely disabled. So 2 out of every 3 born at 22 weeks are not severely disabled, and 3 out of every 4 born at 23 weeks are not severely disabled. So chances are in your favour. But of course, there will be some very tragic stories, leading to one BBC documentary to question, and I quote, "Is this medicine at its most pioneering brilliant, or is this science trying to push the limits of nature too far?" But what, BBC, is the alternative? Letting children die when we could do something? I mean, that's barbaric. But that is currently the policy in many UK hospitals up and down the country. One such example came from Luton and Dunstable Hospital in 2015, in which a woman gave birth at 23 weeks and 4 days, 3 days before the threshold. Now, doctors refused to help her despite the parents begging them to intervene, instead allowing the child to breathe for 40 minutes unassisted before they eventually died. The colossal trauma of that event could have so easily been avoided, not by saving the child's life, but actually simply by trying to save the child's life with the resources available. So why don't we try? Well, the issue fundamentally comes down to abortion law. A nationwide policy of saving babies before 24 weeks would fundamentally call into question the 24-week viability premise of the 1967 Abortion Act. The abortion industry survives on the lie that viability gives value. But if viability drops, well, guess what? So will business. Currently, each abortion past 19 weeks is priced at £1,500. That's 3 times the amount of a medical abortion. Now, considering 3,323 abortions took place past 20 weeks in 2019, we're talking a loss of multi-millions of pounds. And that's why the abortion industry will resist this at all costs, even if it means presenting bad science as fact. And how telling it is that the 2 main organisations providing these abortions continue to insist, despite clear evidence to the contrary, that unborn babies don't feel pain before 24 weeks, despite the fact that we see these premies wincing and reacting to cannulas being put in and the like. The truth is that by 20 weeks, these babies have highly developed pain pathways, and yet we as a society are tolerating them not being helped in one corner of the health service and being pulled apart in the other. We need to radically review this right now, because the alternative is actually so inspiring. Some of you will remember the story of Reuben and Jensen Powell. They became the youngest surviving preemie twin boys, born in 2018. Now, their mother was actually in Cornwall when she started having contractions, so a medical team took the audacious and life-affirming decision to fly her all the way to Oxford, in which the twins were delivered the next day at 22 weeks. Now, a year later, they are totally healthy and doing great. And I love stories like this. They fill me with hope because they are based on an unspoken assumption that because life matters, we should do whatever it takes to help. The Cornish, it appears, are leading the way in regard to pasties and also neonatal compassion. And it's time for the rest of us to follow suit. I'm Christian Hacking. We are CBR UK. Please subscribe, share, comment and donate to our life-saving work.